What's up, guys? I am 3 weeks postpartum and I wanted to share with you guys my positive birth experience that I had at a Kaiser hospital. I wanted to make this video specifically because I was seeing a lot of TikTok videos and just videos circulating on social media about how people's birth plans were not being met by their providers, and that honestly really freaked me out. And there was a few that were at a specific Kaiser hospital that wasn't like my hospital, but just being at a Kaiser facility, I was honestly pretty worried going in. Just to give you a brief little background, throughout my whole pregnancy, I only met with a midwife, which I believe is just a nurse. I met with the OBGYN that I picked once at my first appointment at 9 weeks, and I never ever saw her again. I did, however, have an opportunity to meet with another OBGYN because my midwife called in sick. That same OB actually delivered my baby, which I was honestly really thankful that I was able to meet her during my third trimester, so it was a familiar face in the delivery room. I'm not quite sure if that would be the case for everyone. I pushed my baby at 1:20 in the morning, so I believe it's whoever the doctor was on call, and luckily she was on call. The day my water broke, I was literally waking up. I sat on the couch. I was about to watch TV and I just felt like discharge, and I thought at first it was just regular discharge, but then I was like, no, this feels different. So I ran to the bathroom and I realized that my water had broken.
My water just broke.
Called my husband, took a shower. We went to the hospital by 11:30. But mind you, because I had not eaten, I was really worried that they weren't gonna let me eat until I had the baby. And I figured that because it's my first pregnancy, it would take a long time. But luckily, after I got admitted, the doctor did okay me to eat because I was a low-risk pregnancy. Everything was moving really quickly. We got checked in really quickly. They strapped my stomach to track my contractions and the baby's heartbeat. They also connected me to the IV, which honestly, that hurt so bad that just touching my hand, it triggers that pain again. Then I moved on to the delivery room, and that's where I gave birth to my baby. That was around 1 p.m. and I was finally able to eat. My husband had gotten me Chipotle. The doctor gave me the okay to eat because I was a low-risk pregnancy. I love so much my nurse in the delivery room because she was so kind to me. She asked me again about my birth plan and I said I didn't have one, but I just didn't want an epidural. And she was like, yeah, no problem. Just if you do want the epidural, just let me know an hour before you feel like you can't handle the pain whatsoever, just so that they can prepare the anesthesiologist to come, because if he's in surgery, then I would have to wait. And she was like, but this is your body, you know it best. And it just made me feel really confident. And I was so thankful for her. After I ate, the nurse did tell me that I was able to get a portable monitor so that I would be able to move around and kind of have my body just be a little more dilated with movement. But I wasn't feeling any contractions, nor did the monitor show that I was contracting whatsoever. So 4 p.m. was or 4:30 or 5 was my next cervical check. And I did request a cervical check sooner, but they did say especially because my water had broken, they're not able to do a cervical check on me until it was 4 or 5 hours past my last one. And that's just to reduce the risk of infection, which I completely understood. Once they did do the cervical check on me, it showed that I was not any further dilated than I was when I came in this morning. And so that is when I asked for the Pitocin. And oh my goodness, I asked for the Pitocin without the epidural, and the Pitocin was working. Contractions were finally coming in, and my husband was doing counter pressure on me just to kind of ease the pain. But let me tell you, it did not work. And if my husband had to do counter pressure the whole entire time for another 6 hours while I was contracting, it would have been hell for both of us. So eventually I did ask for the epidural. During the epidural process, they did send my husband out of the room because I guess some people faint. And when the anesthesiologist came, he also brought in the ultrasound machine just so he can look and see where to poke me before he actually poked me. And I was so thankful that he did that. I was really worried about getting the epidural. I was crying to my husband saying I don't want to get it, I'm so scared. But he took the ultrasound machine, kind of marked where to poke me. Then he injected the epidural into me, and I was holding on to my nurse, giving her kind of a bear hug, and she was like, yeah, just hold me as tight as you want. And again, she was reassuring me that I was doing great and it's almost over. And honestly, post epidural, It was amazing.
To anyone who's worried about getting epidural, get the epidural. Just get it. I cannot feel anything.
I felt nothing up to my stomach, and it was honestly really quick. Like, the numbing process was quick for me, and I had no complications, which was obviously why I had such a good experience as well. But post epidural, I took a 2-hour nap, and it was like the best sleep ever because I was contracting but not feeling anything. And my husband would see like the contractions on the monitor and be like, "Did you feel that?" And I'm like, "Nope." The one thing is that I got super itchy all over my body. They did offer Benadryl, but I declined just because I was itchy, but not enough for me to want to take allergy medication. And also I got really, really hot. So do bring a fan because I underestimated how much I was gonna need it. I did have like those paper fans for my makeup, so my husband had to like fan me and then put like wet paper towels on my head. So do prepare to be hot. Okay, now on to the delivery part. This is where it gets kind of weird, and I wish that Kaiser didn't do it this way. I'm not sure if other hospitals do it this way as well, but basically it was one nurse and my husband who was pushing out my baby. It was like 1:20 in the morning. I was fully dilated. This was my third cervical check of my whole like delivery process, and she got everything set up, and I thought she would have called like for backup, but no. My husband put my legs up on like the pedestals and she got me situated. She was telling me to push, and my husband had to like kind of hold my legs together because I had no feeling. I pushed for about an hour, and that's when my son's head was finally crowning, and that is when she called the doctors, and then the whole staff came to care for the baby after he was born. And so there were about 6 people after an hour of me pushing, which I just could not believe because I told my husband I did not want him to see my down there, like his head had to be above my head type of situation because it's just such an intimate moment. But that was like not possible. If this is your first time, like basically like the distance between your face and your crotch is very short, okay? And so if your husband's head is like above yours, he can still see everything, which is honestly really insane. But anyways, the doctor was called. She came really quickly. Again, I had the same doctor that I met like twice before during my OBGYN appointment. So that was really lucky of me. And for me, just being familiar with her honestly gave me a lot of peace of mind. The other on-call doctor was a guy, and literally if my baby did not crown within like 2 minutes, I would have actually ended up having the guy doctor because there is someone also in labor as well. And so I'm just glad like the series of events just unfolded a lot in my favor, and so I was very, very lucky and glad and grateful. Doctor was called. She comes in and she tells me to push, so I push a couple times. And once the baby comes out, Kaiser, I actually asked her about this during my OB appointments, but they do delayed cord cutting for 30 seconds to a minute, or if you want it longer, you can request that as well. But since 30 seconds to a minute, I was honestly good with that. And so basically when the baby came out, they put him on me immediately. They were wiping him while he was on me, waited a certain amount of time. Honestly, I feel like they cut it a lot shorter than 30 seconds, but the delayed cord cutting again wasn't a big deal for me. And so my husband was able to cut the cord. Then after some skin to skin, the nurses took my son into the incubator, did his weight and height, and all the stuff that they did. I didn't really see because I was obviously laying down. Sidebar, I forgot to mention this when I was pushing, but the doctor did ask me if I wanted to feel my baby's head, and I said no because I just wanted him to come out of me as quickly as possible. I just remember that being funny, but the whole like giving birth part I feel like was an out of body experience. And even holding my son like right when he came onto my chest, it didn't feel real. Like I was like, what is going on? And it was kind of a blur for like the first like 5 minutes. We did ask if we can film the birth of our baby, not like directly from like that angle, but just like on the side. And they did say no until the baby comes out. And so that's exactly what we did. And so the footage that I'm sharing with you guys is all the footage that we took after the baby came out of me. Just FYI, in case like you want to film your birth, they did tell us no, just for like liability factors, I would assume. Then after my son was born and he's in the incubator, the doctor is still tending to me. The doctor was pulling out my placenta. She did tell me I had a 2-degree tear, so she did stitch me up. But overall, like the whole giving birth part was just an amazing process. I hope this video brought some people relief and just information for you guys, and I hope you guys have a safe and healthy delivery, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye.